What's going on, everyone? This is Aaron from Dad.0. Now, I recently reviewed the Amazon Fire HD10, and I got a lot of comments on that video asking me if I would review the Amazon Fire HD8. So I picked one up, and I've been using it for a couple weeks, and I just want to give you guys my thoughts and overall impressions of it. Now, this is the 10th generation. I got the 32GB Twilight Blue. I really like this color. It's a really nice color. You can also get this in plum, white, or black. And this model only costs $90 US, which if you can get an HD tablet for under $100, gets to be very appealing to a lot of people. Now for an extra $20, you can get a 64GB model. But one of the beautiful things about the Fire HD tablets is that it does have expandable storage. So that makes buying the base model and then expanding that storage with a micro SD card later on if you need it, an option. And this SD card reader accepts cards up to 1 terabyte of storage. Pulling open the box, you obviously get the Fire HD tablet. You get a black USB-C charging cord. You get a wall adapter that is also black. Now, something to note is that this wall adapter is only 5 watts. And from a completely dead battery, you're looking at 4 to 5 hours before the tablet is fully charged using this wall adapter. And I just want to mention that because that might not be an issue for some people, but others might want to get a bigger wall adapter to charge this up faster. For the design, it looks extremely similar to previous Fire HD 8 models. You got the all plastic back, no camera bump, which is nice, it lays nice and flat. The all glass front with just slightly thicker bezels than some of the other more higher end tablets out there. And like the Fire HD 10, most of the buttons and the ports are on one side of this device. You have your volume rocker, your sleep and power button, a microphone, USB-C input, and headphone jack all on one side. The only port that's not on the side is the micro SD card reader. On the other side, you have your 2 speaker cutouts. And for a $90 tablet, these speakers are actually pretty good. Now, they don't have much bass, but they do get really loud. In a normal room setting, I can keep the volume between 50 and 60% and hear everything no problem. One thing I mentioned on the Fire HD 10 is that because the speakers are on one side of this device, when you're holding this in landscape mode to watch movies, you can sometimes accidentally put the speakers into your lap or set it on the ground and they get a little bit muffled. So you'll just want to make sure that the speakers are pointing up in landscape mode. Taking a look at the screen here, we have an 8-inch 1280 by 800 display. So it's not a full HD 1920 by 1080 display, but it's still a nice screen. It has 444 nits of brightness, which is pretty bright. It can be used outside, however, the reflective glass makes it a little bit difficult in direct sunlight. Overall, is it my favorite display I've ever used? Absolutely not. But again, I think it's more than good enough to watch videos on, surf the web, play games, and that sort of thing. The Fire HD 8 comes with two 2-megapixel cameras, one on the back and one on the front. The one on the front has been moved to the side of the device so that when you're holding this in landscape mode, the camera is now on top. And when it comes to quality, it just kind of seems like Amazon knows that people rarely use their tablets for taking high quality videos or photos. They'll typically use their phone or another camera when they want a really nice high quality shot, but people do use their tablets for web conferencing and video chats. And that's kind of how this is set up. The camera on the back is okay at best, but the camera on the front is more than good enough for web conferencing or video calls. And along with its overall smaller form factor, the Fire HD 8 is noticeably lighter than the Fire HD 10. It comes in at just 0.8 pounds, which makes this extremely comfortable to hold for a long time, which is great for readers, gamers, and people that want to hold this while they watch movies or longer content. It's also more portable. At 8 inches, we're not too far away from some of the bigger smartphones on the market right now. So that means that you could easily stick this into a purse. Perhaps if you have a large pocket, it might fit, but this is really, really portable. Now for internals, we have a MediaTek processor, which Amazon claims is 30% faster than last year's model. It also has 2 gigs of RAM. It has hands-free Amazon Alexa built in, and you're welcome for that, for not saying her name and activating all your devices. It also has Bluetooth 5.0, and as of this review, it is running Fire OS 7.3.1.7, which is the latest software. And so far, I am really liking this Fire OS 7 operating system much more than previous Fire OSs. They've consolidated all those windows that they had on previous OSs into just a For You window, your home window, and then a library window. They've also added a button to the bottom dock that gets you to the device dashboard where you can access all your smart devices like your smart lights, your smart plugs, and smart thermostats. Now the home window has been the same as it's kind of always been, with just a list of apps that can be rearranged or grouped together. The For You window is meant to kind of help you get to the things you want to do faster. So it'll show your recent apps, it'll show your most used apps, it'll show you things that are trending, it'll make suggestions for you based on the things that you do on your tablet. And then the library window is all of those Amazon services that they made windows for in previous OSs condensed into one. So you can see quick snippets of your apps, your games, your Prime Video, and your books. But if you want to get more, you just click on show more, and then you can actually open those up and get a lot more options. Now, like I said, I'm really liking this OS, and one thing that you can do and that I've done with all my Fire HD tablets is load up the Google Play Store on this. It's really simple. All you have to do is follow some instructions and you'll have it loaded in about 10 minutes. And I'll put a link to how you do that in the description below, so check that out. And I do this because while the Amazon App Store is a pretty good app store, it still doesn't have nearly the same amount of titles, the same amount of games, the same amount of apps as the Play Store. So this just opens up this tablet to way more capabilities. And I've actually been pretty impressed with the overall performance of the MediaTek processor and the 2 gigs of RAM. Scrolling around the tablet has been very smooth. Going in and out of apps also has been really smooth. Same thing with multitasking. Apps open up nice and snappy for the most part. Now, if I have too many open, the 2 gigs of RAM does start to bog down just a little bit, and I do notice some stuttering going on, but that's to be expected. Most games that I've tried have played perfectly fine. If you start to get into more graphically intensive games, you might have to go into lower settings for it to play smooth, but most games are going to play just fine on this. For battery life, Amazon quotes 12 hours of battery life on this Fire HD 8, and actually that seems about right for me in my usage. Now, I think it's pretty rare for people to use a tablet for 12 straight hours. Typically, you're using it for a couple hours at a time and then setting it down. It's on standby. And that's typically what I do, is that I use this for a couple hours a day, and then I'm off doing something else and I pick it up the next day. And by doing that, I've gotten 4 full days of usage out of this. And when I break down how much I'm using it each day, it does come out to roughly 11 to 12 hours of battery life. So overall, I'm really liking this Fire HD 8. I think it's a nice little tablet, especially when you think that it's under $100. And I also really like what Amazon has done with their Fire OS operating system. It still heavily promotes their products, but it seems like it's less intrusive, and it's just overall more simple, more easy to get to the things you want to get to faster without having to scroll through 5 or 6 windows to get to where you want to go. And I'm really struggling with which tablet I like better, the Fire HD 10 or the Fire HD 8, because I like the Fire HD 10 screen more, the full HD screen, but I really like the size and the portability and how comfortable the Fire HD 8 is to hold. So if I'm on the go, or if I'm traveling and I want to read a book, or if I want to watch a movie just holding the tablet, I almost always reach for the Fire HD 8 because it's just more comfortable to hold for longer periods of time. But if I'm around the house or sitting in bed and I have something to prop it up, I'll always go for the HD 10 because of that nicer, bigger screen. So you just kind of have to figure out how you're going to use the tablet, and that'll give you a better idea which tablet's best for you. I also think that the Fire HD 8 might be a little bit better for kids, especially with their smaller hands. This thing is a little bit smaller footprint, a little bit lighter. It'll be easier for them to hold. So that's my take on the Fire HD 8 from Amazon. Again, I think this is a really great little tablet, and there's a lot of use case scenarios for it. So if you're interested in it, I'll put a link in the description below. Check it out there. If you like this video, press that like button, consider subscribing. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks again. I'll catch you on the next video.